คุณวานี executives, administrators, teachers, parents, graduates, Concordian dragons, good morning. Good morning to everyone. นี่ฮาว สวัสดีครับ Watcher O หนึ่งไทย And of course, congratulations to all the graduates of Concordian International School today. And here, I'm very honored and very pleased to be here at the valedictory ceremony of the school. Congratulations to all of your parents as well, your extended family, your friends, guardians, teachers, and everyone who has made this day possible for all of you. High school graduation. What a sweet end to one chapter in your life, and towards a new and bright beginning of another chapter. I've always believed in youth empowerment, in youth development, the power of the youth, because it is only you that can make real change in this world in the future. College, career, big business, small business, startups, medicine, science, tech, engineering, foreign language skills, salary base. I start with these words because there is high probability that these words are flying within your minds, especially on a day like today. But there are other words, other terminologies, which may also have come across your minds. Words which bring focus to things beyond oneself, beyond yourself, beyond your immediate community and beyond your comfort zone. Words like humanity, social development, economic disparity, wider global perspective, climate change, human rights, cross-cultural communication. Indeed, the world is getting smaller and smaller, and the issues around the world are getting worse and worse. So there would be a lot of challenges for you and your generation, which your generation would inevitably have to face and address. So first I'll tell you perhaps a little bit about myself, not to tell you about myself actually, but to give an underlying message. My experiences as a Thai diplomat. It's my 27th year in the Thai Foreign Service now. Perhaps I'm in the generation of some of your parents, perhaps. But of course, working as a Thai diplomat and a Thai civil servant has been very challenging. And from the first day onwards, I have not regretted a single day because in diplomacy, I have been able to learn and been in contact with practically all sectors of society, all types of people, all nationalities, all ways of thinking. In this small, small world, of course, that we're talking about. So as a diplomat for Thailand. And of course, just to let you know, I'm also a product of an international school in Thailand, having grown up in a multicultural environment with the opportunity to be bilingual, and for many of you, perhaps trilingual, and perhaps some of you who might know 8 languages as a polyglot. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my life experiences to give you an underlying message. Okay, so my first posting as a Thai diplomat was in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, our friend and very important neighboring country, a fellow member of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Of course, with the cultural and political sensitivities that come with proximity. Now, there's this term called ASEAN centrality, wherein we try to make the region the center of the region for a lot of discourse and dialogue to solve global issues. But of course, that is not difficult in solving global issues. My second posting was in Washington, D.C. Now, some of you might be going on to college in the United States if you happen to drop by Washington, D.C. This is in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. So my second posting in Washington, D.C., I was handed the political relations and, of course, monitored the United States presidential elections at that time. One case in point, one important issue right now, of course, is about the US-China supposed competition or rivalry. I say supposed because I don't actually believe that there will be a conflict, because there are overlapping interests and overlapping allies from both sides. But the real competition and the real war will not be a kinetic war, physical war. Perhaps the conflict will be a non-kinetic war, more on the competition for technology. My next experience was when I was seconded to the office of the Prime Minister of Thailand as one of the official interpreters and speechwriters for 3 prime ministers on issues of foreign affairs. And of course, the skill in terms of multicultural interaction and understanding was vital to that task. This was followed by my posting at the Mission of Thailand to the United Nations in Geneva. One of the issues that we focused on in the Human Rights Council in Geneva was about the issue of human rights, of course, being more context-based and culture-based in dealing with human rights, advocating for issues like technical cooperation and capacity building so that developing countries can uphold human rights standards. Of course, that is very different from the views of some other countries who would feel that there is no cultural or national context of human rights. So you would see that perspectives around the world vary. Perspectives vary a lot. And one relatively new issue in the Human Rights Council is the concept of BHR. I mentioned this acronym BHR because it stands for Business and Human Rights, which might be relevant to your future career. These words come together. It refers to the human rights practices and norms that should be part and parcel and standards in doing business around the world today. Another issue in Geneva is, of course, about global health diplomacy. Some of you might look forward to becoming doctors or becoming surgeons, and the issue of global health diplomacy is very important. So note that your work has a global impact. And of course, international cooperation is key to advancing global public health cooperation. And talking about health, of course, COVID-19 was a case in point, demonstrating the importance of international collaboration, such as for vaccine procurement. So my next experience, as mentioned by Khun Laurent, was of course about COVID, serving as the English language spokesperson for the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA. I didn't think that this mission would end because it was so long, as you would know. The COVID pandemic hit the world for almost over two years. And of course, this mission was so that the foreign language, English language audience could be on the same page as the Thai society in terms of contributing to prevention and protection in Thai society. So currently, I serve as the deputy spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry, communicating to the Thai audience the importance of foreign affairs, and of course to the global audience as well on Thailand as a nation and as a brand with an image. So, talk about human rights, about health, about communication. Communication is definitely very, very important for whatever you embark on in the future. Countries go to war because of miscommunication, and families and friendships break because of the lack of dialogue. And today, we are faced not with a pandemic anymore, but what we call an infodemic, an information pandemic, infodemic. And of course, attacked by fake news. Of course, you know the word misinformation. There is misinformation flying around all around the world. But there's also the terminology disinformation. So one of them is intentionally causing misunderstanding, and the other one is by mistake. So there's misinformation, and there's disinformation. And then you have fake news. And on a deeper level, you have now deep fake news. And you also have doxing, which is putting out personal information of somebody on the internet for some agenda. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to fact check the news and information that you consume, because it will have a bearing on the important decisions that you make in work and in life. Class of 2023, you are all leaders of the new generation. Now that's the good news. The bad news is that you will naturally meet with challenges as you grow older, hard challenges. So not only in terms of different perspectives that I was talking about around the world, or in terms of prejudice, or not only in the problem of communication and misinformation. But what I mean is you will have challenges in terms of natural competition as well, from the mere number of people on this earth. I say this because in November 2022, the world's 8 billionth baby was born in the Dominican Republic. So it brings thoughts, right? What to do with the world's next 8 billion to ensure that this world continues to be safe and continues to be livable in the way that the first 8 billion had created it. Such a large number of inhabitants in this small world. The United Nations Secretary General described it as a milestone in human history, the culmination of an era where dramatic health improvements have driven an acceleration in global population. This population explosion is now in its final stages. The 8 billionth baby has a good chance of seeing the global population peak. So what should you, as the new generation, do after graduation? Build a legacy for the next 8 billion? How? Or you can ask yourself, why? College, career, big business, small business, startups, medicine, science, tech, engineering, foreign language skills, and salary base. What you can do is to be the very best versions of yourself in the life ahead of you. Work with compassion, treat others with empathy, be the pillar of integrity, build sustainability in your organizations, your homes, offices, businesses. Ensure the protection of human rights in your businesses. We talked about BHR just now that I mentioned in my experience. Build this in your supply chains of your big businesses. For example, to be free of labor exploitation and to not produce products that come from discrimination or human trafficking, for example. Good labor practices. Embrace multiculturalism. Be a citizen of the world. Be open. Binary, non-binary, misperception, different values. Address your pain points. Lend a helping hand to your neighbor in need, and be the bigger person. Be aware of the notion of misperception, and not assume that other people around the world share the same values as you all the time. Ponder on things that are of human interest. Think write, work, sing, dance, eat, innovate. Invest in those who invest in you. And live safe, live healthy, live life as if we were the last 8 billion and not the next 8 billion. This is my latest projection of Thailand's experience about COVID. This was in Helsinki, Finland last week. And of course, I would say, just as a humble advice, never be afraid to ask questions. Never be afraid to be different. Never fear, how should I say? There's no such thing as a stupid question, of course. Never be afraid of communicating and contribute to building a strong discussion, and admit the things that you may not know, or admit your ignorance in any matter, any issue. And as we've mentioned, sometimes it's not the scores or the judgment that count. It is often the work ethics that count. And I'm sure that Concordian International School has molded all of you towards this direction. Many of you have been here since pre-K. I congratulate you. It is also, of course, the love and the respect that we give to others, and the leadership and the character in uncertain times that we are remembered for. So when I was your age, so this is me now, quite old. I'm almost 50 this year already. But when I was your age, I was definitely a maverick. I was definitely a bad boy type. I've seen some of your baby pictures, and you've grew up. Some of you look like bad boy types, but some of you look a bit nerdy. But but of course, all of you are well-rounded. Okay, and appearances aren't what they seem. So when I was your age, I was a maverick, a bad boy type, very impatient to see what life has to offer, very afraid, myself, very skeptical. But as time went by, the calmer side of me emerged. And that time will come for you as well, which of course worked wonders for life, for the learning experience, for the life experience. So my humble advice for you is to be calm, to be steady, to focus on competing with yourselves rather than with others. Graduates, quote, 3 feet of ice does not form in a single day, end of quote. Now, this is not, I assure you, a quote from Rick Astley. We heard some lyrics just now from Rick Astley, right? This is an ancient Chinese saying that means progress and growth takes time. And it's important to exercise patience in whatever or whichever journey that you're currently on. Life is a journey. So I laid down sort of a serious list of challenges ahead, right? It seems kind of serious, but it's not at all serious. Life is also fun. You jump off an airplane with a parachute, and then you see what color your parachute is. You know when you jump, when you dive into the deep end of the pool, when you take the microphone and you give an important message to your class, when you're recognized for your achievements, when you sing for your class, when you make friends, lifelong friendships. So this message that I laid down for you is actually very important for myself as well, because I believe in lifelong learning, and I've always supported youth empowerment, the power of the youth. So it seems like a serious list of things I laid out for the world ahead, but the good news, the great news, is, graduates, that you have already done part of your share to date for your age group, for Generation Z, as much as you could to date. Because you have armed yourselves with the knowledge, with the ethics, and with the virtues, the well-rounded education that you have been offered here. You have taken part in the scholarly discussions and founded school clubs. You have done outreach projects to the benefit of society. You have researched and you have studied hard, you have studied smart, not only for your future academic standing, not only for your future university placement around the world, but also for you yourselves to be quality youth and members, citizens of the world at large. And importantly, you have been active citizens of your country and of the world. So this is actually the kind of speech or message that you would hear or expect from a diplomat. Kind of a big general world perspective kind of inspirational message, which I hope you will find useful. Class of 2023 of Concordian International School, the future is in your hands. The ball is in your court. It is your time now. And make a difference in the world, in the way that you see best. Congratulations, and I sincerely wish you the very best in your future endeavors, your future educational and career pursuits ahead. Thank you very much, and Sawadee krap.